Mercedes C63 AMG Coupe, BMW M5, and the Audi RS5 as well. Lots of very comparable production material. Alan, as our driver, tell us what we're going to be driving today. The RS5, becoming a favorite over the day. Okay, so once you've chosen your car, we're going to head into the race settings. Here you can choose the speed of the AI drivers who you're up against, alongside setting the rule system of the race. Setting the rules is all new to Forza. And here you can say whether or not you'd like to have racing rules turned on, Forza race regulations, and have your mistakes penalized potentially. And if so, how strictly would you like those rules enforced? Alan's going to choose 4 on the speed, and then just sport rules, which is kind of the middle setting. We'll head on now towards our track, and that is going to be Mugello. It's a legendary circuit in Tuscany, Italy, a very smooth ribbon of asphalt, and it's a great place to test out a whole bunch of things. Well, first to show off the amazing racing in Builders Cup, of course, but also to show our physics upgrades in game. A selection of sweepers on this track can show body weight roll, and also the heavy braking zones can show the weight shifting over the front suspension. Forza Motorsport features a wholly refigured race weekend structure, and that starts off with a practice session and then heads on into the featured race. When you hit the road on practice, you'll find that hot lapping and finding the limits of your car has never been that rewarding. And the reason for that is our car mastery system is accruing XP on the car with every single corner you drive. I'll talk more about that later. For now, I'll ask Alan to skip through this section though, as it's just showing off practice. He's had some practice already, and it's more fun to see other cars on track. So there is a raft of new features in Forza Motorsport, and one of them, to help you dial in the challenge that you're getting from the racing, is called Challenge the Grid. Here you can see a whole lot of different options for setting up your racing experience. As Alan navigates up and down the grid layout here, he's choosing which position he's going to start the race from. The further back in the field you go, the bigger the challenge, the higher the potential reward for doing well with that. And vice versa, of course. It's all about balancing risk versus reward. It's worth adding that the difficulty settings can also be updated at this point, so if you find after practice that you've chosen the wrong settings or it's not working for you, you can always update things before you go into the race. Where are you going to go for? Is it going to be 12? 12, nice choice. Mid-pack, so as many behind as there are in front. Okay, so at this point you've chosen your car, you've had a little bit of practice, and you've also set up your own risk-reward balance. Feeling pretty good to start the race. Once you head to the grid, you'll find all the driver tires and competitor cars lined up. The driver tires that you find and the cars that they're driving will be set by the cars that your friends use on the service that you're using. So, if they update their car, if they usually use a different one, then the game will update with that. It'll also update with new liveries they pick and new exciting content that they have for the game. All right, Alan, when you're ready, I think we can kick things off. Well done on that start for a first thing. The experience has never been better with our improved physics and AI. The first thing I want to talk about a little bit is the AI upgrades, the driver tires that you see around Alan adapting to the driving that he's putting onto the circuit. Our machine learning powered AI system makes our driver tires as fast as real world super fast drivers. That's great for the racing experience. It means that you're going to have a better time battling against them than ever, but also it means you can learn from them. If you see them braking, and you can brake at the same time. If you see them accelerating, that's happening at the same time as well. That's because there are no hacks, no cheats, no rubber banding happening in the mechanics of our driver tires. They're using the same physics system as the driver. This is also the most inclusive Forza Motorsport we've ever released. with blind driving assists, as well as one-touch racing. There's a whole lot to that, and actually you can find out more about it on Forza.net if you're curious. Forza race regulations are also at play here. So while Alan's driving, in the background, under the hood, the AI is assessing the decisions that he's making and the kind of driving he's putting down, and making decisions about whether what he's doing is fair and whether it's reacting well to the rule set. So if Alan runs all wheels off track, or if he trades a little bit of paint with another car, then we'll see that pop up and start to assess that situation for whether or not it was fair. See it popping up in the top middle of the screen there, just a light tap, and remember that we're on the medium strictness mode here, and so no penalty was delivered. As we bundle into that first corner, and you can see that Audi's road suspension raising the rear and compressing the front with that weighty chassis, it's a good time to start talking about physics. We've seen huge upgrades to our physics, especially our tyre model for this game. We have an 8 times increase in the number of connection points between the rubber and the road, testing for whether the car is sliding and looking for variations as you go over curbs, for example. Alongside that, we have a 6 times increase in the number of updates from the physics system. Together, that amounts to a 48 times increase in the fidelity of our physics system. That feels great to drive, and the feedback comes up through the controller and into the way that you handle the cars around the track. It also makes the simulation more real. And there you can also start thinking about another brand new feature of Forza Motorsport, and that's our 24-hour day and night cycle on every single circuit. Alongside that, we have dynamic weather, and for the first time, an evolving track surface. Throughout the race weekend, more rubber will be laid down on the racing line as cars progress around the track, and as a result, the track will become more grippy. You'll be able to brake later, turn sharper, and get on the throttle more early. A driver on Forza Motorsport needs to adapt to every lap and to every corner. Alright, as we run through the last sector here, the eagle-eyed of you might have already spotted just in the top right here, the XP bar, which has been clacking up experience since Alan's been driving. That's our car mastery system, and it's at the heart of progression in Forza Motorsport. There, as Alan racing feats such as driving well through corners and overtaking other cars, for example, he'll achieve experience, and that will unlock extra parts for his car that he can grab after the race.